Are you looking to stay informed about what's going on in Madison without the media spin? Well, here's the latest news from the Wisconsin Assembly Chambers brought right into your home, directly from the office of your representative, who truly values his constituents' feedback and in always working hard on the issues that matter to you. Welcome to the Ramthun Report.
Hello, fellow patriots. Welcome to our 19th episode, and Representative Ramthun has a lot of developments from this week that he wants you to know about. This week's hot topics include some major developments on the state budget and taxes, a response to Crystal Laufer's request about the election audit in Wisconsin, what happened this week in the Assembly floor session, a brief update on the status of the critical race theory bills, and Jared pops in to let you know about some election reform legislation. Since we've got so much to cover, let's just get right into it.
Hello everybody, got a few updates for you real quick. Take a few minutes and take this in and let me know if you have any questions by contacting the office. Not in particular order, I've got a preliminary budget update for you. There's going to be a press conference today, which is Thursday the 17th at 4:30. We will include that in the e-update for the weekly distribution from this office. You'll see that live tomorrow. Some of the items that they're going to talk about today, I wanted to get out to you guys. First and foremost, I will tell you that our JFC team is doing a great job to address the 1,846-page wish list that was sent to us by the governor in February. That's how it is. The governor sends what he'd like to do for the state. The legislature, who controls the funding and appropriations and the taxation, if you would, within our state, says what we can do, and we're in the process of sending back a response to his request of 1,846 pages and $9 billion in increases to basically give a budget for the state that keeps us fairly flat and in good shape in a lot of areas of concern. Let's start with education. We are guaranteeing 2/3 funding. So that's been an issue for the last couple of biennium cycles for our budget process. We have 2/3 funding in this education plan. $12.6 billion for all funds in education is what we usually spend for education. It's the largest consuming expenditure we have. We're adding $112 million in categorical aid. We're adding $686 million for investment related activity, which includes covering the maintenance of effort, which was a concern you may have recently seen in the paper and on media, where if the Republican plan, is going to cost us a loss of 1.5 to 2.3 billion in federal funds because we don't have the maintenance of effort met. We made it with this appropriation, so that's going to save that issue. 2.4 billion in federal funds also included. So we're adding to education this year 3.2 billion in increases. So we're going to be up to 15.8 billion for education for the state of Wisconsin. Those are record highs and record investments in education as well. Stewardship program is going to receive 1.25 million, which will allow local municipalities to do projects and fundings like parks and things in those areas within the state. That is an increase that we haven't had of that type in the past. The child care credit is going to be increased, and there's a 9.8 million in expense on that. Military pay is not going to be taxed, and that's going to cost, though, however, a loss of revenues, because whenever you do a tax cut, it's actually an expense because you lose those revenues. That's 40 million in lost revenues, but that's good because it helps our military receive full pay and no taxation. Business tax is not going to increase, so no increases in business. The unemployment insurance fund will be kept whole by a contribution from the state of 60 million, and the reason why those two tie together is because business tax helps fund unemployment insurance, and if we're not going to increase taxes, we have to come up with another way. So we're not putting it on business to carry that burden, especially on the heels of the pandemic. There was some talk about PILT, payment in lieu of taxes, for acreage, if you would. The appropriation was 38 cents in the past, 38 cents per acre. I don't even want to go there, but we've increased that up to $3.50 an acre, $3.50 an acre. That's incredible. Back to the taxation piece. 3.54 is the withholding rate for the lowest level of income, which is 0 to 12,370. The second level is 4.65% withholding. That ranges from 12,370 to 24,740. The third level was at 6.27% from 24 to 272,000. That's been lowered to 5.3. So basically 1 whole percentage point tax decrease there. And then the highest tax bracket for the state of withholding is for people who earn more than 272,000 essentially, and that's at 7.65%. So the big save here is for the middle class. We historically, as I understand, haven't done much for the third bracket, which is currently at 6.27. That's going to go back, by the way, to January 1st of 2021. So 5.5, 6 months ago is where that tax break starts when this budget is passed, if the governor signs this tax cut in the budget. So that's enough about money. There's more coming today at the 4:30. Second item I'd like to talk at is the Ramthun Request. We've got something here from Krista Lawfer. She's asking about the Maricopa Arizona audit visit that we had some members go down to earlier this week. In fact, they got back. They went down last week and they came back, I think, Sunday or Monday. Long story short, Krista, and I'm not going to read your whole expression. You're asking basically, why isn't Wisconsin doing this? The legislature's in charge of the Legislative Audit Bureau. We should be able to order it. You're right about all that. But here's what we don't know and didn't know that well. The Legislative Audit Bureau had requested a forensic audit essentially back in February. And the process has been started. They're already in the process. The focus for this audit, because it's different for different states, however, we are looking at the number of ballots and all that too. But our forensic audit is the wrong process. We want to make sure the ballot security elements were in place, which I don't believe they were, but that's just a subjective opinion of mine. The list purge, 240,000, 230,000. We need to look at those things as well. So there will be a reconciliation of ballots. 13 states went down to Arizona. The team, as I understand it, brought back some suggestions and recommendations for our Legislative Audit Bureau, so they're going to be incorporating some of that. The due date for this is sometime this summer, late summer, so they're looking at completion by August. That's what I'm hearing. And Arizona's audit was solely about the recount. That's what I'm told. So long story short, we have audit activity underway with the ballots for Wisconsin and results pending. And the Arizona folks are going to add some process suggestions to that situation. Hopefully we'll get some closure on that. Third item I'd like to talk at briefly is we did have a very extensive floor session yesterday, and we did have 23 bills that were basically processed through the Assembly. Some of them were concurred votes from the Senate, which means they immediately go to the governor for signature. Some of them were Assembly vote ballot bills rather, and they will go to the Senate for concurrence, I believe, next Wednesday, and then those would go to the governor for signature. There was a lot of interest in the vaccination bills. There were 5, 299, 303, 309, 316, and 347. I poked this with my leadership team because, sad to say, only one of them got floor session visibility this week. That was the AB 299 bill. I don't know what's the status of the other 4 is going to be as far as moving forward. Right now, we had one that passed the floor. We want to see what happens with that one, I guess. And then there are 3 other bills that are CRT related. Okay, so this is a subject change to CRT, which is critical race theory. That's really getting a lot of attention down here. And I would tell you right off the bat, where this has to go is to the local school boards. The local school boards have to invest more time and awareness and perhaps process into what's being taught in their respective school districts. And from a state level, though, there is some activity going on with CRT bills. Senate Bill 409, 410, and 411. 409 is currently assigned to the Committee on Universities and Tech Colleges. 410 is Committee on Government Operations, Legal Review, and Consumer Protection. And the last bill, Senate Bill 411, is assigned to the Senate Committee on Education. So there's some movement on those, and I'll give you some updates as soon as I have them. That's it for now. Thanks much for your time, and be safe. God bless.
If you couldn't tell, there has been a ton of activity in the Capitol this week, and we hope that you found some value in all of these developments. Last and certainly not least, we have one last election development from Jared that he would like you to know about.
Hello everyone. I wanted to share with you two bills that were voted out of committee last week, both out of the Campaigns and Elections Committee. Assembly Bill 192 makes two modifications to the absentee ballot process. First, it states absentee ballot collection events can only happen during the time period of absentee voting mandated in state law. Second, it states that only the voter themselves or an immediate family member can return the voter's completed ballot. The only exemption to this clause is if the voter authorizes, in writing, another registered Wisconsin voter to return it. Switching gears, Assembly Bill 271 would simply mandate that any municipality that broadcasts their election night vote counting proceedings must retain that recording for 22 months. That's all I have for you today. Thanks for tuning in.
This concludes our 19th episode of the Ramthun Report. Don't forget to check the links below and make a Ramthun request. Remember to share this content with as many of your fellow patriots as possible. Together, we can truly restore the principles of a government of, by, and for the people. We'll see you next week. God bless you and yours always.